Okay, we live. Yeah, we live, baby. We here. Be better. Do better. Be better. Do better. Be better. Do better. Do this. Do that. Do this. Do that. Sometimes we get so caught up in making progress that we forget to just be and just grow and just allow ourselves to naturally flow. And this is something that I have serious evidence for in my own life. I have just been trying to figure out, why do I feel so congested in a certain area of my life? And this area of my life is the energy or my sexual management of myself, my mind, how I think, what I do with my body, etc., etc. And it's a little frustrating because I know I ain't tweaking. I know I'm not bugging. And it's not like I'm feeling super weird, like I'm attracted to dudes or anything like that. Nah, I'm more so wondering, why is it so difficult for me to go after what I want? To literally go after what I want and I desire. I got the answer for you. It's because I am not living up to my fullest potential. That's what it is. And when you're not living up to your fullest potential, what happens is you go after a little less than what you know you can actually have if you are performing at your fullest potential. If you are performing at your best, like if you're actually doing 150%. Now you're probably like, well, why don't you just do this? Since you got to figure it out, do it. This is where the mind of the human being and our hearts fighting with one another makes life more difficult than it needs to be. Growing up, and I said this in my video yesterday, growing up, I was around a lot of women that had emotional imbalances, right? I did not see successful unions between man and wife and all of this stuff. And it was very difficult for me to develop a comprehension of what a man is really supposed to be like, both psychologically, physically, and spiritually. My father is alive and he was in my life, but he was not a functional father the way he was teaching me. Here's this, here's that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Do you know about the birds and the bees? Are you able to speak to a young lady? Do you know how to control your body? Do you know what's between your legs? Do you know how to use what's between your ears? Do you know how to use what's in your chest? And when you actually look at the nitty gritty of how important this is for a man, it shapes the world that we live in. If a man is emotional or he does not have control over his mind and his heart and his logical and emotional sense, his sexual energy is going to be all kind of haywire. Doesn't matter what type of man you are. If you do not have some type of logical understanding of your sexual energy and some emotional comprehension of your sexual energy, because that's what we're talking about, you're going to be off balance. When you see something you want, you may not go after it. Or when you do go after it, it may be mistimed, or it may just be inappropriate, or it may be not appropriate in the timing, but perfect for what you're trying to put. But I can give 1,000 different scenarios and mix this combination of 1,000 ways. But all of it matters because as I've learned more and more about myself and I've continued to grow in my discipline, I said, hey, I know why I'm having these issues. And though it may be frustrating, I get it. Though it may have taken me years, I get it. And here are some factors, or here are some things that we don't really think about. And I want to talk to the men for a second. Ladies, if you're hearing this you probably could relate to it, whatever. When you know more about what you like and what you actually truly enjoy, you'll be able to stay locked in with that. Okay, and you won't allow the noise and the noise of the world and what the world tries to tell you to do and the social norms to dictate how you should act and how you should move and what you truly enjoy. Prime example, I am more so of a intimate romantic kind of brother. You dig what I'm saying? People can bone each other and all of this stuff. I actually like to know who I'm talking to. And I actually like to have some type of mental connection or some type of background on the person just to be aroused, really. Physical arousing is cool. Sexual attraction to the physical is cool. But if you don't have any type of mind, that'll send me in the opposite direction. Also, well, I really don't even want to get into just what I want. I really want to give y'all like the juice. I don't want it to get too personal. Oh, boom. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to slide. Again, my pops didn't teach me a whole lot of how to establish myself as a man. So I grew up in my younger years, my teenage years, my young adult years, just wilding out, doing things that was completely inappropriate for my age. Not when it comes to sex, but when I'm talking about like behavior. Like I used to steal a lot. I used to get in trouble in school. I used to have fights. I mean, fights is normal. I'm a young man, but I used to get in trouble for fighting without actually having the conversations of why I was fighting. So then what happened was when it came to battles and when it came to rumbling and attacking things that I actually needed to, I was afraid, which explains when I have that fear or when I have those emotions of, hey, I would like to go after that young lady. I'm feeling it. And then it's like, okay, cool. I'm about to go after it. There's this wall, like this internal fear of like, yo, like, why am I stuck right now? Am I scared to fight my emotions or my feelings and just go forward? Yes. And then after I figured that out, I said, okay, cool. It's that along with the coping mechanisms of watching porn and jerking off when I was doing all of that stuff. And also too, having certain things in place as a man so that I'm able to court a woman the way I want to. Because I have a standard for how I treat women that I'm involved with. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I like to provide. I like to protect. But if I'm not in a place where, like right now, I don't have a job. So if I'm not at a place where I can say, hey, I'm digging you and I would love to get to know you a little bit better. Maybe we can go out, we can have a conversation, etc. When you don't have certain things in place, I don't care how much G you got as a man. Maybe these cats, maybe there's some dudes that know the game that are on pimping. But for me, individuals that have had some like gaps, having my career or my bread established, my living situation established, and also some of my core values established, along with just consistently attacking and just, you know, playing the numbers game, trying to get at different ladies, getting rejected, getting some, getting rejected, getting some. That has to be consistent. So basically, my life has to be all together in order for me to truly do something simple. So when you look at yourself as a human being and you take an account for what do I have? What don't I have? What do I have? What don't I have? Like, let's say, for example, I want to drive my car, right? I want to drive this car behind me. And I'm like, okay, I check the engine, check the transmission, check the fluids. Cool. And I try to start the car. This literally actually happened to me too when I got my car. Not this one. I was like, I'm like, what the I looked, it said that it had a little gas in it. Car was in the driveway for like 3 days because I couldn't figure it out. The meter was messed up. From the previous owner, the gas meter, when it was on quarter tank, it was actually empty. So the meter was misjudged. It was a 2003 Nissan Maxima. If you have that trouble and you had that car, you know that can happen. But basically, as a person internally, I have some things like my meter, some of my meters, my internal mental and my emotional and logical meters aren't exactly tuned correctly. So when I'm trying to do something normal and all my other stuff is functioning, like I get out every day, I work out, I'm consistent in like having a vision, I'm making stuff work, but there are certain things that I just have to have in order, or have a compensation for in order to function as normal. So that being said, sometimes you got to make up where other people don't have to. Like, they just function normally. And that's the way of the world. You just have to learn who you are, what you have, and truly use the best that you can provide for yourself, but also compensate in the areas that need compensation for, and give a little extra. You dig what I'm saying? So that's all I came to talk to y'all about, because my sexual energy is out of balance, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm not really in my swag diddles the way I need to at this current point in time of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm in between jobs, and I'm working on my goals, sort of tired, and like the group of individuals that I have around, like I'm managing my family a lot. I don't have the same people that I used to have, or the individuals that I'm going to meet. So it's a weird space. So I also don't like to, I'm not trying to bother any of the women that I'm really into, because the women I want to go after is like high echelon. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to step into a 5-star restaurant with sweatpants, flip-flops, and a tank top. That's not the type of etiquette that I move with when I step to my ladies with. You dig what I'm saying? So also you gotta hold up your standard, and you can't be mad at yourself, but also realize why you feel the way you do, and don't feel so crappy about it. Because if you have an account and you realize why you feel how you feel and what you need to do, either you make up for it and do something about it, or you cry and nothing changes. It's up to you. So that's your brother Key coming with another message. So get after it, young men, grown men. If you trying to go after the swag diddles, if you actually want to make sure that you are at that level, especially when the ladies look at you, because the ladies look at me all the time, bro. It be blowing minds. Because they be like, oh my goodness. And I live in a Hispanic neighborhood. The mamacitas be on my body, bro. They know what it's hitting for. But I've had a place where I'm like, I'm also trying to get out my comfort zone and just like get numbers at this point. But hey, I gotta get out my little frayed shit. So pray for me, y'all. Stay blessed and less stressed. Peace.